ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to more BTS America's Action, powered by Squarespace. Here it is, folks. We're getting down to the wire in this Tournament Cup. This is one of two remaining series to close out the whole thing, and we are in semi-final action of Root Gaming going against Team Archon. I'm KotLGuy, going to bring you the coverage as your point man for Beyond the Summit, but I am not going at it alone, and I could not ask for a better co-caster to round out this American tournament. I got my boy Maut with me. Maut, how's it going, playa? Okay, that did not go as smooth as I'd like right now. I think my TeamSpeak has frozen. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it is definitely not working appropriately. We're going to call Maut up on the Skype. Man, we were so hype right there, and then it didn't work out. We're going to get him on the Skype, though. TeamSpeak seems to be going a bit futzy. Want to make sure we get cool, awesome quality here.
The sack.
Well, I do get Maut back on the line.
Radiant team.
Hello, are we good? Hello.
Hi. Hello. Yes,
all right.
We're good now. Woo! Hey, Maut. Sorry about that. I had this big old hype build up, and I'm looking over, and TeamSpeak seems to be not really with us, but I'm finally glad to hear your voice. How you doing, man?
It's working now, man. We're in. We are here. It wouldn't be this tournament without some sort of technological screw-up in one facet or another.
Absolutely.
Whether it's internet, whether it's microphone issues.
Oh, yeah.
Who freaking knows, man?
Yeah, you can't have a delicious steak dinner without maybe a little bullshit rice peel-off on the side. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
It just comes with it. Can't have something so great without a little sour spat, a little sour patch, a little bit of flaws here and there. But I don't want to prolong things much further, Maut. Let's just quickly, before we hop into the actual draft and talk about it, how these teams really got to this spot. And, Root Gaming, they come off, they have a tremendous Red Bull run, just coming a hair short. 2 Champions of Summer's Rift at the time on being able to make it to that next stage. Here they're back. They open up against Team E-Hug. They shut them down 2-0. And then in that next round, they go against Team Unknown. Kind of a close match, close series there for a while, but ends up being Root besting them 2-1. And then Maut for Archon, you remember, they open up against the Frosted Snakes. They beat them down 2-0. But Maut, that Not Today, that infamous Not Today series they had, that kind of opened some eyes right now. And even though the odds coming into this matchup for Archon facing Root Gaming is about a 70% favorite for Archon, I don't know, man. I'd put it more split down the middle because of what I saw from Not Today. I mean, would you agree?
I would definitely agree with you. Not Today was a team that they weren't at their fullest because they had stand-ins, obviously. They're a new squad. Obviously, they're playing the Latin circuit, and that's great. They're playing some matches. But Root Gaming is a team that has had the same roster pre-TI5 qualifiers, even into some of the, way back, the Summit 3 qualifiers, for example. Root Gaming, this team definitely has the ability to take this series not only 2-1, but even 2-0. We're talking about Fluff, obviously a veteran of the scene. Fun, who's really good in terms of his support play. Monkeys Forever, also another veteran. TC, I mean, obviously one of the best carry/mid players in the game in North America. And then Moo, who I've really been a huge fan of recently in that off lane. Yeah. They've done some crazy stuff with him, and it's really worked out. Not to mention he's got a great stream as well. So Archon have a very tough task against a Root Gaming here. And I would agree with you, man. 50-50 is where I'd put the series at.
What makes it hard now, we're getting down to these final 3 teams, is I have a lot of friends, and I know you do too, Maut, who are playing here. And people might want to call us biased for America and stuff like that. Well, there can be seriously no bias here because I want all of these guys to succeed.
We are friends with all of them. Exactly. I can't think of one particular person on either of these rosters that I am not friends with. So
what happens is I'm really excited to see my friends play some amazing Dota and bring their A game. And then part of me is like a soccer mom sitting in the back just so nervous. I hope they all just do so well. I want every game to be so close, Maut.
Yeah. But we can't always have that, though. That's the thing. It's going to be heartbreaking to see if these games aren't close, if maybe one team gets stomped. It's not going to be great to watch. However, with the way Dota's been going, especially the past 2 days, we've had some exceptional matches coming through. Obviously, the series yesterday was something else. It was Summer's Rift, obviously. And that was a close series going up against Complexity, and Complexity being the TI5 qualifiers. What's kind of cool now is that Root Gaming don't have that TI5 ball and chain tied to their leg at this point. They don't have to worry about showing strats. They don't have to worry about whatever they're going to pick. And Archon, they might want to save strats in this position. It's just something that you have to keep in mind. Root Gaming, they've got really nothing to lose. And Archon, they don't want to show too much but already they go for a pretty interesting pickup in the Bane in the second pick, which there's no reason for you to pick it in that position. Yeah. There's absolutely no reason to pick it at that point.
Yeah, it is. It's not like the Bane band's going to be coming unless it's something obvious that could give it away. Maybe like a Mirana pickup and you're trying to kind of throw it back a bit. But yeah, I mean, there was still some quality options out there they could have worked with. I know they love to run the Lion from time to time, something that Fogged has notoriously ran, Sand King, stuff like that. But they decided to go for the Bane instead. So it makes me feel more like maybe they have something up their sleeve, something that they're looking to kind of pull out. You know, who knows? We could see the revisit of the off-lane Bane. Remember, Zai ran that at one point.
Oh, God.
You know, and it's something that you could pull out of your back pocket and teams just kind of sleep on. And then all of a sudden
I think that was ran this tournament, wasn't it? Didn't we see an off-lane Bane this tournament? Maybe I'm thinking of Dota Pit. It might have been that. But
there was a
it was
series
definitely
I
one
did
of these.
miss, so it is possible. I'm not.
But off-lane Bane, I'm not so sure of. But with that being said, it is the Nyx Assassin pickup, and I actually like the Nyx with the Bane. It's pretty good. Nyx Assassin more than likely the off-lane pickup. Although this doesn't really seem like a Mojo Storm Stout here. We think of Mojo Storm Stout, you think of Clockwork, you think of Spirit Breaker specifically, maybe a little bit of Darkseer here and there. I'm sure I'm missing a hero or two for MSS, but this doesn't seem like an MSS off-lane hero. So I'm inclined to believe that it might be a Nyx Assassin in the support role, Dakota, and that could be interesting.
Now we can actually break in and dissect the actual draft that they've thrown together. Root Gaming, they get the platinum grab, as I like to say now, the too hot to trot Leshrac for many teams across all regions, doing an optimal, or maybe they get rid of the Quap and then they do an Earthshaker ban, which means they want something prized, whether it be this Leshrac or a Tusk or even the Wyvern. Archon do ban out the Tusk and the Wyvern. But the nice thing is they followed with a Rubik here. Pretty early Rubik, but you get your kind of poor man's Yule set up between him and the Lesh, which can work out nice. And now they have the Clockwork on their own team, so they don't have to worry about committing to a Clockwork and having a Rubik be picked up on the other side. So they're getting all their bases covered right now. And then we look over at Archon. We already mentioned a bit about the Shadow Fiend and the Bane, of course. Nyx Assassin gets a bit more spicy, but works beautifully against Lesh with the, mana burn that will progress and get even better as the game goes on. And then now a Lina pickup here. Hard to say what this Lina is going to be.
Yeah. That's, I think, the most important thing for Team Archon is they, like you said, for Root, they're covering all their bases. We don't know if this is going to be a support Lina. And the way Archon play, I don't want to say that this is 100% for sure a core Lina, but they love their core Lina, whether Ush or Korok will play it. Ush, of course, being the primary user of the hero. But PL has been a common pick for Root Gaming. Very difficult to bring down. They do have Fiend's Grip, so that's kind of interesting. They picked the PL into the Bane. You can lock him down if you find the right actual hero. Nyx Assassin also pretty good against the PL. Mana Burn, Impale, very nice. And then Vendetta Ganks are really good as well. Lina with the LSA to lock down. So PL won't have as great of a time here, but still, if you can get some room to farm in that top lane early on for Root Gaming, they could easily start crushing this. They'll have some really good push between the Phantom Lancer and the Leshrac and whatever they pick here as their last pick as a support. We'll see what they go for. Last ban Scarith Mage, getting rid of that silence, pretty damn important for Archon. And we'll see what we have on either side for the last picks.
You can get kind of a little bit of hints that Root Gaming were looking to commit to this PL and this picking spot. Getting rid of the Earthshaker early on, making sure they get rid of an AM who has potential to build up cleave. Then the Drow thereafter, and that kind of secures things for them. But what they don't end up banning out and they leave out is an Ember Spirit. Works wonderfully against the PL, who has really good high ground defense and a tremendous amount of cleave, we all know, that can help with dealing with the Phantom Lancer and his many Adopples. So with that, Archon, we see their 5-man spread here. It looks pretty well rounded. Could be a bit flimsy, no real meat. No real frontliner to kind of soak up the grit of the damage. I feel like they could be susceptible to being
well, they're going to get a mech for an SF, I think. I think that's probably the most important thing, is getting a mech early on for the Shadow Fiend. Lina will build into an Aghanim Scepter and like a Yule's at some point in the game. She's a support, so it's going to take a while, obviously, but she'll be somewhat tanky. It's really just going to be the Bane, and obviously the Nyx Assassin using Spike Carapace at the right time. Silencer is going to come out for Root Gaming. They wanted some way to silence without a Scarith Mage being available. This is going to be huge if they can catch out the Ember Spirit, pop that global silence, and bring him down. It's going to be a big pickup.
I love the Silencer grab. I wonder if they were more so considering something like a Keeper of the Light, and then with the Ember Spear pickup, they're kind of like, ooh, Silence would be really nice to have here. Would shut down the Ember, shut down the Bane from getting off a solid Fiend's Grip. Maybe if the Shadow Fiend decided for whatever reason wanted to go Yule's, it helps shut down that combo. and they put a lot into the silencer. So that helps out. You get almost 2 silences with it. You can get a good quick disarm movement on your Ember while silencing out maybe the Bane's ultimate and there. Because otherwise, if they just wanted a singular kind of silence hero, I think maybe like a Disruptor could have also been a good option. But silencer, man, that's a dirty pickup, and he is fantastic at zoning in a lane.
Yes.
You get that pure damage, and it's a hard-hitting right-click. An offlaner is going to be cringing at the fact of going up in a lane against him.
No, it's not comfortable for sure. You could even maybe think about running this as an aggressive tri lane, although with a Bane and a Lina on the other side, it will be kind of interesting. Ush is on the Bane, interestingly enough. I don't know if they're going to switch this up. MSS playing the Nyx Assassin, so we will have a disconnect. We're going to get a remake here real quick, Dakota, and then we'll jump back into the game as soon as we... Of course, there's another hiccup, as always. But
let me pop out of this bad boy right here, leave this game. We got to make sure everything's perfect. Here we go.
I want to ask you real quick.
Okay.
Because I know you are a big FGC fan. Have you been watching EVO at all?
Yes, I have been watching a little bit of EVO. I'm a big Marvel guy. Unfortunately, Marvel's actually happening right now.
Yes,
while this
I was
game's
watching
going
it
on,
earlier.
so I'll have to check the VODs on that. But I was catching a little bit of Street Fighter and then some of Melee.
Melee, yeah, I've been watching that as well. I was watching UMVC earlier, and it's been actually just a great weekend for esports in general. We've had, obviously, EVO, BTS Americas has been amazing. There's not much Dota action happening, but, you know, some really good stuff going on. Is there no lobby up yet? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the lobby as well here. Andre, our admin, hopefully around, maybe not too far from the computer, maybe chilling at the fridge or something. Hopefully it gets back. But I'm going to go ahead and fire up the bracket again. You can see down to 3 final teams here for BTS Americas. We've got the matchup right now, Root Gaming going against Archon. You can see at the bottom right there. And then yesterday, Maut, you had to pretty much take reins of the whole cast for all 3 games after the internet issues I was having. But it was a crazy series. Complexity going against Champions of Summer's Rift. And what an upset, man. Summer's Rift making it out, securing their spot in the finals, taking down the team that had qualified and made their spot in the TI5.
Yeah, Complexity, they didn't look particularly great. Swindlemelon's definitely, his Queen of Pain play left something to be desired for sure. And he has his moments. He can either be really on or really off, honestly, for Swindles. And then it was honestly also a bounty hunter pickup, and it looked like they really weren't comfortable with it. They didn't get the kills early on in the game. They didn't get the track up until a little bit later on. And when they did get the track up, they never got any kills with it. They didn't put it to good use. They almost lost an 80-minute game where Demon was on Techies. And I think everyone will look at that game and think, okay, this Techies is a dumb hero. He's broken. He needs to be out. This is exactly the thing that's wrong with Dota. And I don't really think that's not what that game was about. The game was about Brax on Zeus having an amazing game, destroying. And then you are playing a fantastic Bloodseeker and Mike hitting some amazing snowballs, Blink Walrus punches. And Demon just kind of, you know, fortifying the back lines and saying, listen, you could try to push in the base, but good luck with that. So Summer's Rift looked immaculate. And I said this before. You have to wonder how they would have played at the TI5 qualifiers had they not made some sort of roster change.
But the roster they have right now, it seems to be working pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Chatted very briefly with Yawar after that series. He felt good, but he did feel like that second game he did throw a little bit. So, you know, they felt like they could have won that game, that very long, exhausting game. You know, people put a lot on the techies for causing that delay. And, yeah, he probably was a factor of it, but you got to give credit to Summer's Rift, man. Even in that game they ended up losing, they held their fort pretty damn well.
That was a great game, man.
That was
I wish you were with me.
I wish I was freaking casting it, Maut. I wish I was.
I'm not
God
trying to throw it in your
Time
face.
Warner Cable.
I'm not trying to throw it in your face, but it's so funny.
I'm sitting there, I'm like watching on my little iPhone, Maut, and I'm like, because I can't watch it on my computer. I have no like TV. You know, internet is like all I have here. It's like if I have one thing, make it work.
I could just imagine you like pacing back and forth, watching the game, like throwing your hands up, like, God damn it, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Why is my internet not ready? I'm sorry, dude, but
we're loading back into the game, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I don't know why it took that long to corral all these little kids back into their player seats. I know Karak was having issues rejoining in, but here we are. We're back into the new draft. It's all picks. Sorry, stats people. I'm sorry. It's going to be a bit fudged on the record, but
We'll add it in manually.
Pencil it in somewhere. I don't know.
I'm not doing that. I'm just kidding. That's too much work for me.
So, regardless, here it is. Your 5-on-5 matchup. BTS Americas, our first game of this exciting best-of-3 series I've been hyped up for. And, woo, they're testing me right now and getting the party started. But we finally have made it in. I don't want to prolong things much further. Let's actually break down and get into the introductions here. I'll take the leisure of your dire side. We got the Root for Root boys over here. Leading out the charge, we got their captain and drafter right now. It's Brian, the fluffy one. Fluff and Stuff. He's going to be playing your silencer. Monkeys Forever is going to be playing one of his signature grabs as of recent, the PL. TC, he's your Tauren Chieftain, and if you underestimate this guy, he will send you into a burning eternal abyss. I don't even know if I said that right, but this guy is intimidating as hell. He's a man of little words. But he's going to be playing your Lesh, the Dirty Lesh. We got Fun. Going to be playing your Rubik, and last but not least, we got Moo. He's going to be playing your Clockwork.
On the side of Archon, and before we actually get into this game, I want to point out, go ahead and follow Fogged on Twitter at Archon Fogged. He tweeted out an amazing picture yesterday. It is of all the Archon players, plus I believe Bobby beat his Tynes, as well as Pandago, their coach, at medieval times. Yes. And it's a fantastic picture, so definitely check that out. MSS will be on the next assassin up in the top lane. Mojo Stormstat, of course. Mid lane, currently, Fogg's warming up. Looks like he's just going to plant a ward up towards that top lane spot. He's going to be on the Bane. Down bottom for the time being, it'll be Ush. The Swole God playing the Shadow Fiend. Korok playing the Ember Spirit. And Chad, who is really committed to this name change.
Yeah.
I will refer to him as Bleak very often, but his name is currently Chad, and he'll be playing Lena.
Chad has been really stepping his game up through this tournament. He's made a lot of signature performances. That Omni Night one is a game I'll always just kind of refer back to for him. Yeah. Something I'm sure he's happy to have in his portfolio nonetheless. But altogether, Team Archon, they have really been scrimming their asses off. And we'll have to see if it pays off for him. Obviously going to be going into the big spotlight of TI here. And your mid lane matchup, these two guys, these two players, Ush going against TC, and both of them getting some support from both sides. You can just see how much value they have in this mid lane for their player to really shine.
This is classic, though, for a Bane. You want to go mid, you want to pop up your Enfeeble real quick, and you want to make the life of the opposing mid laner disastrous. You want to make it real frustrating. And that's why they rotate the other support on the side for Root there. And Fogged will just back up, and it looks like he's just going to stack. And that's what you do when you have a Shadow Fiend of the Radiant mid lane. It's just the way the world works, I suppose. TC should have a pretty good time, though, early on here. I mean, Ush doesn't have any real stacks up with his Necromaster. He finally just got his level 1 raises. We'll see how things do turn up.
I didn't overlay Batty, but it's okay. We're back in. No first blood was shed. I'm sure people are going to get really pissed about it, but oh well, folks. Suck it up. MSS eating that heavy harassment coming out from the glaives. Got to remember it's pure damage, so you can't take too many of those, but he has the creeps in a very close spot. He's been using the aggro pull. Does get pulled back here from Fun, and we'll just continue to eat a bit of harassment. Carapace off the last one. Actually didn't connect it, but it's in a good spot. A good enough spot where he's going to be able to soak up some serious XP. He's already level 2. It's going to be a lot trickier, though, for him being a Nyx and getting some CS.
Mike is messaging me angrily right now.
Yeah, I got it. 2-minute delay, so
yeah,
it'll happen.
It'll be fine. Bottom lane, Mood does push out Chad and Korok nicely with his cogs. The mana burn early on isn't really that much, so it's not a big deal. Battery Cell's going to go. He's going to try to go for a solo kill onto Chad. This could be pretty big here. Chad might be in trouble. LSA could go. Korok's going to walk in, Searing Chase. They're going to split the damage to Battery Cell. Cogs will go through. Chad, LSA is finally going to go. Chad in trouble. The first blood, it's going to go to Korok. They do get the return kill in the end, but it was close, and no experience goes the way of Moo despite getting that kill.
Very good sacrifice from Chad. Commit hard into that fight, having faith that they would be able to pull off the first blood and get the bounty there, which certainly makes it worth it. Had the gun the other way, it would have been quite a bit disastrous. Moo already back in the lane, though, dishing off that rocket for the free bits of mana from the leftover fountain regen. Fogged, zoning out on the side, and just kind of scouting out to see, you know, the main thing for him is he's staying in the dark. Staying in the dark off the radar, keeps Root guessing where he could pop up and potentially set things up for his team because he's got a lot of great setup with that sleep and good synergy with each of the lanes, so he's easily able to be mobile.
Yeah, the thing is they don't need him bottom. Because obviously you just saw what happened just a second ago. They got a solo kill without any issues. What's happening right now? Someone is like calling me on Skype. Mike, stop.
This is why I hate when we have to do remakes and stutter stops and player problems, because I have to like go through the whole sequence again when I already had it correct the first time. And it's like I go back and something is going to get forgotten because we had to go back and do it all over again. Whereas if it was just a smooth flow, it would have been different. So,
all right,
let me changed. Everything's done. Hang up on everyone.
Let me vent real quick. The Steam call system, there is a Steam call system, by the way, has the loud-ass ringing noise. And IX Mike is just calling me nonstop. And all right, I can't handle it. We're in the game. The overlay, I'm sure, is surely switched now.
Yes.
Okay. We have 4-minute rune coming up. MSS is in the off lane. He's not got any last hits whatsoever. That's not super surprising because of this lane. He's just trying to leech experience for now. And this is going to mean that Monkey's Forever has got a free farming PL lane. And that's pretty good. 24 last hits, off to a fast start. The question is, what is he going to go for? More farming-oriented, or will he go for that early diffusal? A lot of farming-oriented builds on PL recently. You know, boots of speed into a Yasha. MSS make a call, though.
Yeah, there, they get the pull back. He's looking to run right here. It's not going to be enough to bring him down, but it's going to be enough to force him to go into that salve. And he's going to be left over with no more regen. It's been a hard time for MSS. He's been punished. And he's only able to get so close. He's still level 2, trying to push to level 3. Even though Mu handed over the first blood on his clockwork, he did go get to level 4. Now, mid lane, they're trading here. TC charges on forward, gets off a good split earth. Fluff's there to follow it up with some harassment, but Ush, not going to be taken down, does have help nearby in the form of Chad.
MSS is just trying to leech whatever he can. He does use a Spike Carapace at a nice time with that Spirit Lance flying through. But he's just not getting the experience that the Clockwork is getting bottom. MSS is desperately trying to reach up to 3 or 4, and it's just not there right now. Moo's sitting at 4 currently, already with Boots of Speed. He's got a couple last hits to his aim, so the off lane clearly going in favor of Root. As well as the safe lane farm. If you look at Korok, only 27 last hits, in comparison of 32. Ush is starting to dominate, as Shadow Fiends often do after, you know, the 5-minute mark. But now Moo Nightmared up down bottom. Searing Chains will go. Flame Guard's up. This should be a kill. It's going to actually be pretty close. Maybe not. Brain Sap. There's the triple remnant. Just to secure the kill. Korok. Wow.
Smash Classic right there. Just the exclamation point on finishing out that push, and they get it done. Back scouting out mid lane here. Ush, 31 and 8, level 6 on his Shadow Fiend. TC on the other side, 28 and 2, also sporting his level 6 here. These are two big powerhouses just butting heads in this mid lane. A lot of raw NA talent.
Former SNA members.
Yeah, former teammates.
Yep.
So they know each other pretty damn well. And, well, Chad just doing his jungle thing here. So other than that, he's kind of starved his support. Almost getting to his level 3. Didn't quite get it with that creep, unfortunately for him. But just him and Fogged kind of always being around, but never really revealing too much as far as where they're going to be popping up here. And you can see it. Mu is playing very reserved, now hiding well back the tower. I don't think he's going to be taking all the way the walk back. He's just going to do the block here. Get that creep wave closer to the tower for himself. Almost will be level 5, though.
Yeah, Mu gonna cog block. Make sure he can deposit a couple of creeps. Mid lane TC has been stacking up his jungle. He has 1 stack here. I don't believe he has any others in the vicinity, but he's going to try to catch up, although against the Shadow Fiend it is going to be difficult. You could already see the disparity in CS, and it's pretty great. TC sitting at 32, 56 for Ush. I think the difference is right now is, and not to say that Root aren't playing selflessly, but Archon supports, and especially MSS as well, just not really getting much off the map. Especially Archon supports, making sure they stack up the jungle, they pull as much as they possibly can. It's really, it's okay. It's the Korok and Ush show at this point for Archon, and they know this, and they're going to make as much space as they possibly can. Eventually, they will have to deal with that Phantom Lancer, and I'm not sure how they're going to do that when the time comes. They might need a level 6 on a support. It's going to be a long time, though, before I think we see anybody get involved top lane.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe having the kill advantage for Archon, this game already is pretty damn split down the middle. You're looking at the CS, it alternates between those 4. And as we switch over to the net worth, you know, it's relatively the same. Just maybe Archon edging out Root Gaming at this point because of that early first blood and extra kill. But other than that, they're both making good, efficient farm. And, okay, we'll hold that thought here. TC finds the opening to commit onto Ush, tries to dance around the raises, and does come out on top, but he barely is able to etch away. And, man, that Dragon Slave just kind of seared the hairs on his goat ass.
That Siege Creep almost just secured the kill for them. That was about to be amazing. And the Dragon Slave, as you mentioned, just narrowly missing. The trade comes through. That's a huge kill for TC. That stops not only us from farming, gives TC a bit of farm for himself, and also gives him room to work around in the jungle, among other things. Takes Ush off the map, as I mentioned before. That's very important. Root getting that kill. And it's also going to provide TC that ability to start snowballing. His arcanes are now done. He's going to have some mana to work with. He can start roaming around, grabbing kills elsewhere. Again, it's going to be tough to bring down KotLGuy. They don't have the global just yet. You look at Fluff, and he's sitting at level 4. They are going to give him lane farm, as Monkeys Forever has a Morbid Mask. He's going to head right to the jungle. We might see a Vlad's here early on for the PL pickup.
Yeah, more of a farming build then. Or it could just be holding a reliable Morbid Mask and then build to the Yasha or Diffusal thereafter and seeing many different buildups from your BSJs to your Monkeys Forevers to your Fears to your Hows. To each their own. Monkeys Forever, though, he's going to go ahead and ransack his way through this jungle. And got to commend TC. He knew in that heads-up moment, Ush pushing up to the high ground, he just started hugging the Shadow Fiend, so it was very difficult to catch out any additional raises after the first Q raise has been dished out. And Ush was just kind of stuck spinning in circles, and they just kind of played a game of chicken where TC ended up coming out on top. So the nice thing for Ush, though, is he's able to step back, farm through these stacks, and kind of get himself back into the groove here. Now, we made the call out before that this is more of a mech pickup game for this Shadow Fiend, but we'll have to see if that's what Ush indeed goes for.
He could go for a number of things. He could go Blink. He could go really deep baby. There's a lot of options, but I think mech is probably the best bet if they do want to fight early. They have some really good team fight, but they could also just kind of say, okay, we're going to back off, maybe try to get some pickoffs with the Yule Scepter, which is not as common, but still definitely an option for Ush. But we will see some rotations top lane. There's still no level 6 for the Bane yet. MSS is sitting on 4. He's actually lower than support. Chad is nearby as well. He's level 4. They're going to try to lock down somebody in this top lane, whether it's Fluff, whether it's Fun nearby, who's actually TPing bottom lane.
Yeah, he steps out. That Archon might see that and look to engage this top lane. Because all the meanwhile, Monkeys is instead going to see the bounty rune. TC's going to pick that one up. And they head right back towards this mid lane. And yeah, Ush goes down mid lane.
Yeah.
Getting picked off.
I think that was maybe not solo. I think maybe he had some help coming from TC. I don't think Fun was there. Might have been Monkeys Forever throwing out a Spirit Lance. I'm not sure. But Us shouldn't have died in that situation. And that's more farm given up to the left track now, who's sitting at the top of the net worth. Okay, so... And I love this pickup from Fluff. He's going for the Midas. He has lane.
Ooh, KotLGuy committing on Moo, bottom lane. Triple Remnant forward, and he's going to get him down. Moo can't really get away from that. Battery Assault not going to be helping a whole lot. KotLGuy staying nice and close, so no Cog's going to keep him back. Top lane, also a trade to the other side. They're going to move on to Fluff, and they're going to get their own kill. You take one of mine, I'm going to take one of yours. Bigger grab, though, for Archon, taking down that core clockwork.
Yeah, but and that also stops, as I was just talking about, Fluff getting at Midas. Now there's a Nightmare on TC mid. Fog still no level 6 yet. I think it's Siege Creep. He's going to have it. No! Oh, he was 10 experience away from having the level 6. And that's what they were waiting for. They were looking to Nightmare into that Fiend script, then secure the kill with, say, a couple of Shadow Raises or a Requiem. It just wasn't there. Good try, though. And it is, by the way, going to be that mech for Ush, and I think this is the right choice. They're going to fight early, push down towers, and make this PL uncomfortable. Take down that Tier 1 top lane. Don't let him farm the jungle and go from there.
Just feels like they do need that more survivability. It's the good heads-up call. And they might look to put it right to use. It can be so deceptive when you look to engage a team fight and you don't acknowledge the mech that had just been recently picked up. It's almost like a second life will be coming out for Team Archon. MSS with his Vendetta now, looking to scout out. See if anyone's looking to linger nearby. There is Monkeys Forever nearby, and an incoming rotation from Moo, looking to probably use this hookshot setup here, now being level 7, going all into the rocket with his build-up.
Yep. He has Arcane Boots, so he can get away with it. I don't think he's got a bottle. It's kind of an interesting build. We see it occasionally. No real big deal that he goes for it, but I guess he knows that he's not going to get the most damage out of Battery Assault against KotLGuy. It's interesting. I'm trying to think of other reasons why it might not be a particularly good pickup, but going to rotate towards that bottom lane again. Root are not really in a hurry to fight. As long as they make space, they're happy with it. So it's really, the onus is on Archon at this point, and they're just kind of lounging around mid lane, trying to get Chad some farm, trying to get the rest of their squad up to level 6. Chad is that last hero to get to that point. He'll have it pretty soon.
The thing is, when you see it's both teams, they're 4-man, they're moving around, they're looking to see any sort of potential pickups and openings that they can take advantage of, and they're two real farming potential here. We got KotLGuy on one side, you got Monkeys Forever on the other. You have to start comparing them on who's really getting the most out of this map. Now, KotLGuy has been fully committed to this bottom lane, and he is well in ahead. Plus, you got to remember, he has 3 kills to stack on top of that, so he's about level 10 and a half. He's got 2,400 gold saved up. So if he looks to just go right into the Battle Fury, he's going to have it in pretty damn good time. And then you look at Monkeys from the other side, he did go for the Yasha and is just holding that Morbid Mask as a reliable grab. But I still would give Korok, even with just the hero matchup, the better edge.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer. I mean, both heroes need to farm. But Korok obviously needs Battle Fury to actually do a lot of damage. But he'll get that pretty soon, assuming he wants to go right for that Battle Fury. He could easily go for Drum. They're going to TP mid. Monkeys Forever is pushing in. He will notice the TPs. MSS will come out and will just take a couple of creeps for his trouble. And that means that top lane is going to be grabbed, or at least try to be pushed in by TC, who has level 2 Edict. Will work on this tier 1 tower top lane. There is no glyph. It was just used. Chad will rotate up there. No TPs coming through from anyone else yet for Archon. Getting ready to defend this. And no, it's just going to be a deny coming out. Not there. Good try from Chad, but it is going to be Fluff grabbing that. After picking up his Midas, he's level 8 now. And now the question is, what do you go for in terms of itemization? Get an Aghanim Scepter. It's going to be a 4-staff. Maybe some other utility for the Silencer. There's a lot of options here.
Refresher, usually a top good grab. It's always better to have the double silence than just the extra bit of curse damage that comes added from the Aghanim Scepter, but it is Fluff after all. We'll have to see. Force could also add a lot of good utility to himself, to his team, having a Clockwork on your side. Or,
that's right. But for Silencer, did they change the Aghanim Scepter where they took away that extra second duration? I think they might have.
To be honest with you, I'm not too sure. Actually,
I want to say they did.
Kind of pulled it out. Yeah, I'm more of a refresher guy.
I mean, Refresher is good.
But getting a Midas at this point is very, very nice for him. Clearly, getting that bit of me time in this top lane has paid off for him, and he continues to get it here. So the Silencer could be a real big problem for Archon when they're looking to get these team engagements and setups. They look to move in. You're going to have Chad, their Lina, rendered useless. Fog's not going to be able to get anything off. It's going to be very difficult. But if they're able to get the catch off, things could be very different here. They're on a smoke. They're on the move. Global is up, though, for Fluff here. So they better hope whoever they get a hold of, they can take down really damn fast.
Vendetta. Ugh, Korok is this DD. He's going to get Telekinesis. He's Remnants away, Split Earth. It's just not fast enough as an animation, but now Monkeys Forever on the other side. Doppelganger's the LSA. MSS looking for the Impaled. Misses it. Just to the left. Now more TP rotations. The entire cavalry showing up for Root Gaming. They want to try to turn this around. They're going to have Ryan, Fluff coming in from the north. Chad taking a bit of damage. That level rocket is no joke. MSS going to take the last word. A couple of right clicks from the Glaive of Wisdom. MSS silenced up. Curse is going to go. He'll stick himself. He's got Spike Carapace level 1, but he's going to go down, it looks like. Impale's going to go through. Monkeys is low. There's no follow-up there. Last word will fly again. That'll be MSS going down underneath the tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, Fog caught out Split Earth and the Lightning Storm. 2 quick kills across the board for Root Gaming. 1 top, 1 mid.
Very rough for Archon. That smoke egg turned into a bit of a disaster there. They couldn't get the catch onto Monkeys, and then when they decided to make the call of retreat, which could have come seconds too late, Root were already on the move. They pursued, and they were rewarded by catching out 2 stragglers. And very difficult time for Archon. They knew they couldn't fight that. If they tried to fight it, they'd be fighting into a global, into a rotated Clockwork who had hookshot ready to go. There would have been no way they could have won. So they ran in hopes that they would have everyone alive, but that's not the case. And with the follow-up now coming out from Root Gaming, pressing down this mid lane, TC commits the Edict on that tier 1 tower. It is going to be glyphed early. So they're looking to just follow up that good couple of picks with maybe some objectives here. Looks like they're not going to be able to get any sort of significant tower damage. Archon just going to have to shake that one off and stay composed.
And they will find top Fluff. They're going to go for the Impale, the Mana Burn. Phoenix Group will go even just to secure this kill. Definitely useful, and I think a right play from Fog. Definitely needed some farm, so Fog is actually going to get up to 500 gold with that pick off, and that means that the Silencer is down for 30 seconds. Sure, it's not the biggest pickup, but a kill's a kill.
Monkey's just diligent, goes right back to his jungle farm. Knows that he's going to be the backup plan for his team. Starting to look pretty sharp as they look to rotate in. Move. Oh! Slept mid hook shot. What a good unsleep coming out from Fun. Now he does commit move forward, but it is into 3 here. This Clockwork going to get quickly outnumbered. Gets stunned. They turn it right back around on him. He's going to go down. Fun even looking to engage. Now TC shows up, and he's the problem. Shows up, gets the connection of the splitter on the Fog. Fog should go down. We'll make it a Clockwork for a Bane trade. Fun again with a good sleep removal.
Now, in the meanwhile, Korok is farming his Battle Fury in that bottom lane. He's getting chased down by Monkeys Forever. Korok does have a Remnant up if needed, but he'll back away. And us just farming mid as well. Now going towards that BKB. He's very close. He's just about 400 gold away from having it. And at that point, BKB, Mech, they want to fight. They're going to have a Battle Fury pretty soon for Korok as well. I mean, he has enough money for it as well. He's got it pretty much, especially with this bounty. So he's going to head home, purchase up the Perseverance. Boom. Battle Fury done at 18 minutes for KotLGuy. That's some serious farming that safe lane coming up in Amber Spirit.
Yeah, they're building together some good, reliable late game with just the damage they're going to be able to dish out. Whereas Root have a good, strong late game, but it requires a bit more finesse, I would say. A bit more execution, making sure a good, nicely timed global silence is going to be effectively used. One defensive one misuse, and things could be very sketchy. It just feels like their team has got a bit more of a choreographed routine that they're going to need to pull off more appropriately. While the game progresses more and more for Archon, it's more about just kind of bull rushing forward and using your power advantage as it is.
For Archon, I think their next move is probably just to go top and just knock down this tier 1 tower. If they can get the tier 2 tower even better, throw up some observer wards, make sure this jungle is not safe for Monkeys Forever, so that he has to farm bottom. There's not much room to farm bottom. There's a tier 1 tower there still. So just make him uncomfortable. Fun's gonna get Dragon Slave up top lane. Ush is just running up to the creep wave. He's got a BKB, he's got a mech, he doesn't have a care in the world.
Charging it with that haste. Lightning Storm not going to chain off onto Ush. They drop a ward, they're going to see Ush right there, and a sentry behind it. Ush still holding strong. I wonder if we were looking at this like maybe this is a bait, but they know that KotLGuy is bottom lane. So they're just kind of farming out on the side while more of Team Archon rotate up here. KotLGuy has a TP if he wants to be a part of this, but we'll see.
Fun's just like, you gotta be kidding me. He throws down an observer ward, it gets countered immediately by a well-placed sentry. I think from Fogged, I want to say he flopped it down as soon as that observer ward came through. And that's going to be vision that is gone.
Yep.
Really good news for Root. TC is very farmed. Second in net worth, only by a little to Ush, who is, of course, a Shadow Fiend, is expected to have this amount of farm at this point of the game. So TC's in a really good position. He's almost got his Duels. He's got 10 Bloodstone charges as well. And this is not... You don't want to give a Leshrac a snowballing advantage. I mean, that's where he really thrives. You get later on down the road, his team fight pretty damn good. Observer ward right underneath the sentry, so we're going to see multiple counters, one from either side. KotLGuy rotate up top, and it looks like we might see the fight happening. This is what I was talking about, Dakota.
Yeah.
Try to bring down this tier 1 tower, and Archon will group up and get ready to go for it.
They've been corralled back here, anxiously waiting for quite a while now. Could do a little mental fatigue on looking to get something set up. They are going to be able to move forward. Archon not going to be able to take advantage of their D-ward. It actually still stands. They are very passive, making sure they don't get caught out. TC, though, does. Caught with a stun, a follow-up stun from MSS, and oh, not going to get the last right click. A good interjection coming out from Moo, playing as the bodyguard on that one. He might pay the price for it. Looks like he will. He's going to get changed. Tries to draw the attention elsewhere. Gets Lagoona'd in the butt for it. Ends up being just a one-man pick. Root Gaming see TC go down. They instantly pull back.
That was a sweet hook shot coming out from the Clockwork. The Raze animation was going. Ush was a half second away from securing that kill onto a Leshrac, which means Bloodstone charges down the drain. Maybe he doesn't get his Duel Scepter at the best timing. But suddenly, they trade their Clockwork, which they are more than happy to do. Obviously, they don't want to lose any hero, but they got caught out in a bad position. Ush pops a BKB charge for that as well. They're going to head down bottom lane, and KotLGuy with a double damage rune and Sleight of Fist, and Monkeys Forever might just be dead. A Doppelganger into the tree line. KotLGuy has the Sleight of Fist, triple remnant coming through, and he doesn't use it. Finally does, but it takes him forever to get back to the fray. Fun has that Flame Guard.
Yeah, Diffusal in hand now for Monkeys. He just grabbed it, and now he's going to look to use it. Fun does end up going down. Quickly uses that Diffusal. No more mana for KotLGuy here. They're just going to swarm around him and take him down. Now, all the meanwhile, Archon is pushing in this top lane. They want tier 2. This is coming off that tier 1 pushdown, so this is a lot of economy boost coming the way of Team Archon. Yules into Split Earth. TC can't follow it up here. Needs more help, and they just have to pull back. So that's 2 towers down at the cost of KotLGuy being dropped in the bottom lane.
Yeah, but that trade's not that bad. Yeah, the trade is not that bad for Root Gaming, though. You'd think, okay, tier 2 tower, top lane goes down, they lose the Rubik bottom lane. They kill KotLGuy. That, I think, is very important. Him not farming for 28 seconds. Well, hold that thought. MSS Vendetta up. The sentry might have scouted him out. I think he walked just in range. They know there's a sentry there, clearly, as they just countered that observer ward.
Yeah.
So MSS is being very patient with this play.
They looked for him there, but TC wasn't quite close enough to get that quick Yules and setup. And now he just hangs in the lane for now, while both Chad and MSS will hang but nearby in the woods, weighing it out. Back to farm for the rest, though. KotLGuy now back and alive. Ush continues his farm on through, has a Yasha for himself. Possibly looking to go into a SMY or a Manta. Manta possibly to just quickly get rid of that silence, I'd imagine, from Fluff.
He bought the Ogre Club. He sold it. He thought about the SMY.
maybe.
But yeah, you're right. The Manta style, very good. He won't have to use the BKB just for that global silence. He wants to keep that BKB maybe for a little bit later in the fight, so he'll be able to Manta it off if necessary.
Yeah, he might have sold it and said, I'm going to wait for the ulti orb.
Yeah. We'll see if he decides to go that route. I think either is fine, obviously. There's no real problem. Cad working on his Yule Scepter, that's a huge item. You talk about Lena's getting a Yule Scepter early on if you're a mid Lena, and you get like a free kill, essentially. You get somebody up in the air with the Yules. And speaking of Yules...
Top lane, Yule's caught into Ush, followed up Split Earth, and hook shot from Moo, gonna keep him locked in place. He pops his BKB, he retreats, gets the help from Fog with the sleep. Sleep gonna be taken away from Moo. Ush, oh man, that Split Earth looked like a hair off the marker, a hair too late. Not gonna catch Ush. They do turn it over and they get fogged, but that was very close.
BKB charged down, support killed. Top lane now open for the taking here for Root Gaming. Level 4 edicts. Glyph's gonna have to be used, and they're gonna do their damnedest to split push with KotLGuy. Well, he can't really do this on his own. He's like, can I get some help here? Curse, last word. KotLGuy doesn't really care. He actually just remnants back. He's gonna play it safe, and they actually do have to TP, so they can't take that tier 2 top lane. It's a good pushback from Archon.
Yeah. Forgot about the BKB thing. That fucking Archon throwing me off right there. He had it though. Split Earth would have connected, but he's golden. He's good. KotLGuy back to his farm. Not going for crit right after his Battle Fury, putting a lot more into the BKB. Ember Spirit typically does not like to go BKB unless it's a matter like this, similar to your Storm Spirit. You're going against a Silencer, you're going to need it.
I'm not sure. This is... I guess BKB is pretty good this game because the Manta's only going to really work against the Silencer, and BKB against the Leshrac is probably your best option. But yeah, you mentioned it, man. You really don't want to go BKB on this hero. It's just not an item you ever want to pick up. I don't think it's Desolator. I'm almost positive it's not. But he doesn't have that Ogre Club just yet. He's kind of saving his gold at this point.
Yeah, Ush is going for SMY, so does feel that BKB is enough for the silence coming his way. Don't really blame him, though. It is ticking down a little bit at 8 seconds here. Before we really have seen a lot of the 5-man breakouts. You know, both cores still putting more into farming up before it's time to really clash here. In Viz bottom, they don't want to grab it just in case there is detection or a ward nearby. They'll see that disappear and know something is fishy. So MSS looks to turn the corner here. Fun is actually behind them. I don't know if they'll see him. Looks like not.
They might have. Yeah, they saw him walk across. They had vision with that Observer Ward across the river. But now the counter smoke. Fun's going to walk right into some trouble here. Oh dear.
Chad, go back telekinesis. There's the Split Earth. Chad should go down relatively easy. MSS as well. Gonna get caught up with the cogs. Moo looks to move forward, but Us shows up, pops the mech. Starts right-clicking him down. There he goes. Fun gets the finishing catch onto MSS. 2 down from Team Archon now. KotLGuy is pushing this bottom lane. Ush, Requiem's from behind a tree here. Pretty good damage. Now we'll right-click down Fun. Fun is dead. And the rest will retreat. This is good split damage here. Monkeys Forever now attends to that top lane. KotLGuy goes right to the bottom to proceed his farm.
Ush is just using these BKB charges like they're nothing, man. Yeah. It's a 7-second duration now after he pops in, gets a kill on a support Rubik. In the end, maybe he had to make that play to survive. I'm not sure. In the end, it is going to be a tier 2 for a tier 2 tower, as KotLGuy as well as the PL Monkeys Forever take one on the opposite sides of the map, rather. KotLGuy does end up finishing his BKB. He can start fighting now if he chooses to, or he can wait for his next item, whether that's another Battle Fury, whether that's a Daedalus. That'll remain to be seen. And this is still very close. It really comes down to, I think this Leshrac is probably the X factor. Yeah. Getting those BKB charges down for Ush, and then having TC just have a elongated team fight, keeping him alive, and having him go to work.
Man, everyone just proved me wrong here. Fluff actually does go for the Ags. Right now, he gets the first Void Stone for what I imagine is going to be the Fresher thereafter. Ags is good. It's long, prolonged damage for maybe anyone with a Blink Dagger or looking to initiate. But it will be BKB'd off, if not timed appropriately. So I'm very curious to see what Root look to bring in these team fights to outmuscle the already very beefy Ush and KotLGuy, who is on his way.
Yeah, and they're going to use up Korok, actually. Splitter will go through. Korok pops the BKB perfectly timed. There's going to be this like this, and you get the series changes. Well, Remnant blows up the freaking Rubik. He's done so. Yules up onto the Lina, and they might only get one kill out of this for Archon. BKB is now on cooldown. Monkey's Forever walking in Chad. Diffuseled up. He's got the Laguna Blade trying to get it off, but now gets Nightmare instead. Defensive Nightmare. There's the Global coming through. This is going to be trouble. Double Splitter coming out. They blow up Korok. Ush pops the BKB, but there's not much he can do now. His team getting blown up around him. They've only killed one on the side of Root. They might get Monkeys. No way. Ush has to TP out. He will make it away, but his team is dead around him. Dead bodies everywhere for Archon. The first big team fight of the game, Dakota, and Root take it handily with a beautiful global silence from Fluff.
Yeah, good lead in on the Korok. Korok said it was time to man up because if he didn't BKB, he was going to be in big trouble. His team maybe not in the best position to really take advantage of it. Fluff really nursing that global as well after the BKB of Korok. Now Ush was able to BKB it off, but Maut did a wonderful job. Steps in, gets a good hook shot to stop Ush from getting off the Requiem. By that point, he had been contained, and the rest of his team was able to just kind of clear out the rest of that backstaff. Now to follow it up, Root Gaming moving to the Roche Pit. Looks like they're going to get an easy Aegis without any contention.
I'm really concerned. I think Fluff is doing so much more in these team fights than both of the supports for Archon because of how good that global is. If he gets that global off every single time of these team fights, their supports, not to mention a lot of the other heroes, really, if they don't get their BKBs off, are essentially useless, or if their BKBs are down. Fog can't get his Fiend's Grip. Maybe he's even channeling it and the global gets cast. Chad can't get his Laguna Blade. He's got to drop his load before he can even think about being able to actually do anything in these fights. His right click's not going to be enough. Though the Silencer has been a huge pick so far for Fluff. They've gotten enough room for him to get an Aghanim Scepter and a Midas, not to mention maybe like an Refresh Orb later on down the road, which he is starting to build now.
He's 5th in net worth because of that Midas, better than both off-laners, and that big Ag's ult, that extra bit of damage, just pretty much crushes the supports of Team Archon.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very devastating. And all the meanwhile, Monkeys is going to be the one to try to take on both Korok and Ush as this game does progress. But you have to always consider the high ceiling that Korok brings to the game here. He had to step off and get the BKB, but if he is able to farm and get some good damage, that stuff doesn't matter. PL can get as tanky as he wants. Those little doppelgangers will end up crumbling. But if Root Gaming continue to just find good openings and execute as they did in that fight, I don't know, man. Still pretty close with Root kind of etching ahead now with that significant support farm. They're in a good position at this point.
I think you hit the nail on the head talking about execution. That's really what it comes down to. And because you have such mobility options like Doppelganger, you have the Yule Scepter coming out for the Leshrac, they have the hook shot, they have these X factors, and the Doppelganger specifically. It's all about positioning now for Root Gaming. They've done a really good job of making sure they've not been caught out. A really good example of that was just top lane when Monkey's Forever was about to get ganked a second ago. Doppelganger, as the Sleight of Fist Searing Chains came through, didn't latch up, and he was able to make his escape. And I don't think he's died yet this game. He's 3-0-4. Monkey's Forever has had to deal with a lot of damage, raises, obviously, the Sleight of Fist Battle Fury, which we've talked about ad nauseum. He's not died this entire game.
Yeah.
And that's something special for Root here.
Part of the reason why that PL is usually a second phase ban when teams are playing against Root. Monkey's Forever does very well on the hero now. Gets caught out with the Yules. LSA, Dragon Slave, not looking to commit with anything extra. Doppelganger Fog around, has Fiend's Grip, but between the two of them, they're not looking to go at this PL, maybe fear for who's waiting behind him.
It must have been that, or they just thought that wasn't the real one. Root were too busy smoking up in their own jungle for Monkeys to actually have been saved there, and he got really lucky that they didn't go with the Fiend's Grip. Fog had thought about it, and it was a little bit too late when he decided to commit for it. He walked up and he wasn't in range. And that's heartbreaking because any little thing these supports can get is huge, especially a kill on the biggest target currently for Root. They're going to smoke up. They're going to walk right past this tier 2 tower up towards the Ancient Stack. Not going to find anybody in the meantime. Monkey's Forever is too busy farming up. There's some really good deep vision here from Archon. So they expect that Root Gaming being off the map means that they are smoked up. However, Korok, good reaction time. Remnants right away immediately.
Way deep Remnant, too. If it was not as deep, Moot maybe could have caught him in a hook shot on the way back, but not that far.
Have a really good Observer Ward on the Super Cliff coming through for Root Gaming. So if they wanted to stay around, they could. But they're not willing to go for anything too crazy. They're going to find Korok mid, though.
But MSS does jump in. Quick Yules, though, from TC to react. Doesn't get stunned up. BKB's charges on forward here. Looking to go for Chad. Actually sidesteps a bit. Catches Chad with the Lightning Storm. Now moves in. Sees KotLGuy splitter. Connects onto him. Dishing out that serious damage. KotLGuy can't do anything. He's going to be manhandled. Monkeys Forever has shown up. And Root Gaming looking to clean house. Ush into the mix, but his BKB is just going to be utilized to get the hell out of there. 3 from Team Archon go down. Root do lose 2, but they are still in fighting form, and they're going to look to break down this tier 2.
It's just a simple fact that Archon weren't ready. Fog had to back up. He got his Fiend's grip off, but it was way too late. If Ush was there at the get-go, if MSS was able to hit at least one Impale, if they could get that Impale before the BKB came off, it would have been fine. The thing was that Chad threw TC up into the Yules as the Impale was going to hit on TC. Whether or not TC would have BKB'd that Impale remains to be seen. But that is definitely something that could have changed the course of the battle. They put a lot of pressure to this tier 3 tower mid. Look at the Edict going to work. Another Yules will come out. Chad, LSA doesn't connect on the timing. Now top lane has to be dealt with as Monkeys Forever now with the newly minted Scotty. Manta's away. Butterfly is done on the side of Ush. Monkeys Forever throws up that Spirit Lance. Blink forward. Impale connects. Can they grab this kill finally? Laguna Blade. He's got Doppelganger, but not the man to use it. They finally bring him down. Fog dies to the illusion to the back lines, but that is a mega kill spree going the way of Ush. That is at least something to hang their hat on. They've got to do that a lot more in order to get back into this game.
Yeah, that was the biggest clear-cut fight of this game so far. Going for Root, and it didn't even cost them their global silence. I mean, by the time he really has to use it, he probably will have 2 ready to go here. He has 2 Perseverances already complete, 700 gold. He's well on the way to finishing out a very nicely timed Ags Refresher combo on this very impressive support play from Fluff. And that is going to be rough. BKB or not, he's going to hit you, and there's not going to be much you can do about it. Top lane, they get the Yules connection onto KotLGuy. He's able to slide a fist away from the Split Earth, and then Remnants away from trouble back into his base.
My God, man. That's 20 Bloodstone charges on TC. Forget about Monkeys Forever. How are they going to deal with this rack? Actually insane. So if it's not one hero, it's the other. And not to mention, you made a very good point. This is without having to deal with global silence in that last engagement. So there's a long way to go for Archon to get back in this game. Is there a possibility? Absolutely. They're not down that much in net worth. It's only about 7,500, and it is peaking up a little bit. But they'll have to maybe look for a contention of Roche, maybe a pick. I don't know, man. This is still hanging in the balance, and again, it does come down to how useful are these supports. Chad will have his Laguna Blade Aghanim Scepter upgrade pretty soon.
Oh,
TC's on the hunt, though.
Yeah, he has the vision. Chad is in trouble. He's going to be going down here. Yules throws up his hands in the Tribal Dance, and now he's looking to move in. No stun connection here. Not sure what that was.
Oh, Chad misclicked, I think.
Maybe, but they do end up following it up. Monkeys Forever rotates in with his new Boots of Travel upgrade. It looks like Chad's going to make it away here, and same with Ush. So lead-in setup. No blood will be shed.
Oh, KotLGuy got schooled by the Rubik. Telekinesis into the spell steal. KotLGuy is forced to pop his BKB and TP. Look at the Edict damage going to work, though. No creeps around, except for that Siege creep. KotLGuy almost gets destroyed. Meanwhile, Fluff is going to get raised up. Make a kill spree for Ush now. He's starting to come online. Starting to feel himself. Again, it's a long road. They'll take whatever they can get, though. But Monkeys Forever is wrapping. I don't know if Ush can take Monkeys in a straight man-up team
He does
fight.
have a Butterfly, but he just got a BKB. Look to Requiem.
Oh,
What
my
a doppelganger coming out from Monkeys. Just played Ush like a fiddle. In anticipation, knowing that was going to come. Now Ush is in trouble. Getting chopped to bits, looking to juke him, sidestep. He has the move speed here.
Pop the flutter.
Doppelganger on through. He's fluttering himself away from trouble here. Monkeys on the
so
chase.
fast.
But man, look at how fast he is. A track star right now. He even has the shreds in strength form and everything. And he will make it out.
I think the Boots of Travel might got... Oh,
Not
Fog, what are you
Fog.
doing there?
Fog.
What?
Not so fortunate. Goes down.
Johnny's. That's not the place to be, my friend. I'm not really sure what he was doing. They were trying to help his teammate out, but Ush was more than capable of making it away. The Flutter combined up with the Boost of Travel move speed. I think he had hit max 5.22 move speed at one point there, and it's just too fast. But Ush, yeah, you called it. Requiem did nothing. Good Doppelganger. BKB was used, down to 5-second duration. Ush is just... He's farmed, but he's just throwing a lot of these, items and abilities away.
He's testing his luck again. This time, mid lane. Gets used up, does the right click, now stops his BKB. He's doing this without a Requiem. Looks to man up here. Chad shows up. Laguna. Doesn't matter. TC has a BKB. Shrugs it off. Ush going to go down first. And then it's going to be Chad thereafter.
Oh, the Lincoln Sphere for TC. He just picked it up. I didn't even expect it. I didn't even see it get purchased. Oh, it just comes out of nowhere.
That's exactly how they wanted to use it. Archon didn't expect it either. Fun, even the cherry on top, stealing the Laguna and throwing it right back in Chad's face.
It's looking like the TI5 attendees currently are just not having the strongest performance here in BTS Americas. We talked about how even this matchup is between Root and Archon, and it's looking like they might take this first game. They have a clear-cut advantage. They're going to take this tier 3 tower here in just a moment, and Glyph is going to be used. There's no buyback for Ush. He just bought that Boots of Travel. He also bought a Demon Edge. He's done for 50 seconds. Good luck trying to deal with Monkeys Forever and Lashrak coming up to the high ground now.
All right. Monkeys Forever just going to town. This Rax is going to drop here. Meanwhile, KotLGuy continues to dish out Slide of Fist. The Yule's actually going to go into MSS. Don't know if that was the intended target. Splitter's still going to connect, but he goes right into Vendetta. Another Slide of Fist, but might be too late for this mid-center Rax. Looks like Monkeys. Oh, he's going to go down. Laguna. Connection from Chad. A follow-up global. Just the first one here. Still has a refresher for another if necessary. Doesn't feel like it is. He's just going to smoke up, and they're going to step back with their winnings. And good winnings at that, Maut. Rax all down in mid lane. This is just very big. Roche is not going to be up yet, but they're eyeballing it here. In a few moments' time, it will be up and ready to go, and I'm sure Root Game are going to want to take it.
They don't really care that Monkeys Forever died. That's completely fine with them. They are 100% okay with that. Yep. They take down mid-Rax. Archon will try to push this out. Maybe go for a Roche fight. If they lose a Roche fight, the game's over. Unless they can somehow get buyback for all their heroes. They're still 500 away for Ush's buyback. Roche is going to respawn right as they walk into this. It's going to be an 11-minute respawn. They know it's going to be up very soon. I'm surprised they're not sticking around. There it is. Chad saw it. He's going to ping it out.
But they're going for mid lane. TC, though, already on the way out. MSS was on route. Does have a blink, but couldn't catch up. Now it's Ush in trouble. They turn right back onto him. Oh, MSS not going to connect with the stun. TC flexes his BKB. And MSS is in trouble. Going to get used up. And we'll go down to the Lightning Storm. TC and Ush go toe-to-toe here. Splitter's not going to connect to the BKB. Right clicks are coming out. There's two fights breaking out at the moment here. Up and above and over. Chad in trouble. Chad should go down. This Yule's tick will finish him off. Fun grabs that one.
Monkeys Forever's already back in the fray. TC respawned instantly. He denied himself. He's 15 Bloodstone charges, so he still is going to respawn very fast. And Root clear up two heroes. They're going to head to Roche. They said, we knew you were checking this out. We knew, Archon, that you wanted this. And you're not going to get it. I hate to tell you. So, again, any little advantage that Archon tried to grab, and Root are just one step ahead of them. TC, with Lincoln Sphere, denying himself, travel. TC has really impressed me this game. It's really just been his show. I don't want to, undervalue the rest of Root's squad, but TC has been immaculate this game, Dakota.
Very well played. 1 point having 20 charges, still sporting a nice 15 here as he pressures the bottom. We're still seeing Team Archon as well, just getting as much farm as they can before the inevitable high ground defense could be coming for them. Ush has that Demon Edge and nearly 3k gold saved up. Probably looking to pick up an MKB/Daedalus if he wants the raw damage.
Radiant's bottom
but he'll just make do with what kind of farm he can get. Same goes for KotLGuy, who's kind of utilizing the lane farm here in the mid. Does have his Daedalus now complete. So, BKB's withering down here. KotLGuy at 8 seconds. Ush, no surprise to see him at 5. He's been kind of handing it out like it's free.
Yeah.
But they're just going to try to
really
keep
the biggest issue.
The lane pressure, they just got to keep it away.
Ush has just been too flimsy with his BKB usages, I think. I don't even know if flimsy is the right word, but you understand what I'm getting at here. He's tried to do it all on his own, I think, and he thinks he's stronger than he actually is. And I think that goes back to the beginning of the game when he tried to man fight Lashrak, played by TC, and it just didn't work out in his favor. And so that kind of trend has continued on throughout this game. It's rare to see Ush in this kind of instance. He's noted for his farming prowess. His GPM is up there. His ability to carry games is outstanding. But this particular game has not been great for him. And KotLGuy as well has had some rough times too. Has farmed really well, but the team fights it's been kind of a weird, smorgasbord of team fights for Archon. It just never seems like they're in position to fight. They never take a fight on their terms. And they're going to have to do that pretty soon because they're getting pushed in here in the top lane, and Root have even smoked up.
It's also feeling more like Root Gaming just know when they want to get something done. They're looking to push an objective, and they set out to do it. And right now, it's top lane. Lead in, hook from Moo, catches, but a quick four-step does come out from Fog to save out his buddy Ush. Moo gets himself caught, but a good global is going to cancel the Fiend's grip. Now they look to move. MSS in huge trouble. He's going to get Yules up, but should die on the fall down, or not. Able to blink away to safety. He's going to get earned up. He's still good.
Wow.
Back at the tower, Monkeys Forever starts chopping away. Now at half-life here, KotLGuy dishing out the sleight of fist, trying to help out as much as possible. Fiend's grip, stolen? No, sleep. Take it away.
No, that's Fiend's grip.
Oh, it is Fiend's grip. Yeah, I thought so, but the sleep actually came from himself. So he's holding it for now. Oh, Requiem not going to be very effective here. Is just Root Gaming back away. Monkey's looking to re-engage here. Ush. Company split up. MSS. Yeah, he's in trouble. He's going to get Splitter forced forward, and he's down. And here comes KotLGuy. Charges in. Instantly takes out Fun. Looks to go to Moo next. Moo has a glimmer. Walks back out and away. TC just trying to dish out some serious AoE. There's the second global from Fluff, and that means KotLGuy is going to go down here. Ush could be in trouble next. Looking to finish off TC. Can he get him? He can. Can get him with the Death Requiem. But the damage has been done. KotLGuy is going to be forced to buy back. Monkeys Forever, Doppelwalk. Stays back, then gets Glimmer Cape, re-engages. And a Laguna will fly out. That's just the Aegis, though.
Monkeys Forever is out of his mind. He doppelgangered like 5 sleight fists, manted another one. This guy's playing absolutely ridiculous. He's holding on to like his abilities just to make sure he can get away from those sleight of fists because he knows that's going to be the damage dealer that's going to take him down. And dear Lord, has he been on point with the Manta dodges and the Doppelganger dodges. And they're going to secure the top ranged racks. They lose the Aegis, sure, but they really don't lose much else after that team fight. Buybacks are forced all across the board for Archon, at least with their 2 cores. And they are barely alive in this first game, Dakota.
Really a stellar game for Monkeys. He is over 5k gold now unheld. And I don't know if there's going to be much to really stop him here. And there's not much to really deal with a lot of the illusions at this point. Raze can only do so much damage, and he's exploring this much HP. He will be able to flex it off. Plus the fact if you can connect anything with him, as you said, just highlight-worthy doppelgangers this game. But Archon now, I don't know if I want to call it desperation mode yet, but it might be here. Down 3 racks. They go out and on the move, but it's more of a kind of split up here. They're not looking to stay together. Ush is just going to get help from KotLGuy to try to siege down this tier 2 possibly. But the rest of their group is just kind of split amongst the cross of the map. Monkeys is working with bottom, and they're kind of getting stretched thin. Oh, Yules, Chad just blocking Monkeys. Monkeys, easy doppelwalk, steps away from that. And the career goes down all the meanwhile for Team Archon. Oh no, it was Dire.
It's a small pickup. It's a small victory for Archon. They'll take anything they can get at this point. Game is, again, you mentioned this. I don't want to say it's impossible, but God, does it look difficult. Monkeys Forever is big. Still has an Aquila. He needs to sell that. He's going to have real solid farm here in just a moment.
Fluff as well, too, man. He still holds about that 5th position in net worth. Has a Glimmer Cape, all of the, has a refresher, has his Glimmer. Has 2,200 near 2,300 gold. Top lane, they're going to go into KotLGuy. There's the Yules. Sleight of Fist again will avoid the Split Earth. And he remnants away. We've seen this once before. KotLGuy luckily not to have to use a BKB. But, jump in from MSS. Gets the stun on the TC. Going to get help with the Glimmer Cape. And now comes Monkeys Forever looking to TP in. Moo! Nice hook shot. Bump back! KotLGuy is able to remnant away from trouble. MSS blinks into the trees. And now Monkeys Forever and Ush looking to go toe-to-toe. Ush doesn't want any of it. Will make it out. Moo pops his battery assault, not going to matter. But instead puts his target onto Chad. Chad is going to be able to just waltz away from this, it looks like. But taking him on a bit of an adventure and drawing them away from the top lane is what's important. But Monkeys Forever not looking to get to turn mod. He goes right in to clean up the second racks.
All right, we got BKB down for Ush for 30 seconds. No buyback on KotLGuy or Ush. They have the glyph. TC is not going to get impaled. They use the Lincoln Sphere with the mana burn. Monkeys Forever is going to do his best to avoid a lot of these sleight of fists with his doppelganger. Yeah, just doppelgangers out of that Syrian chains. Now the top lane of Rax is gone. He seems thinking about going in. BKB popped. Split Earth. Ush in trouble. Global's gonna come through. Ush taking some serious damage. Hook shot in. There's the double silence. The refresher used. Chad getting chased down. We'll get burned out. TC getting a double kill. And with Ush down for 109 seconds, his bottom tier 3 tower and Rax should be cleaned up nicely. KotLGuy will do the best that he can. And he does have some really good wave clear, but it's going to take a miracle for them to bring this game back.
Yeah, doing this without Ush. KotLGuy almost going to get caught out here. Sleight of fist dodge. Going to get telekinesis pull back. And we'll sidestep. But the Rax are already crumbling here. And this is Megas, and they're going to grab it. Doppelganger Monkeys is just looking at his eyes on the prize here. Gets the finish. KotLGuy in trouble. The talent should be thrown in momentarily, Maut. And Root Gaming, we look to them if they're going to be able to execute against Team Archon, who seem to have more of a muscular draft, but they certainly did. Lots of good work coming out from Fluff on his greedy but very solid support play on the silencer. BKBs were used very fast from the side of Archon. They didn't have much of a defense for Root Gaming just charging on in and finishing the game.
Can you imagine if they picked something other than a Bane this game? Again, not to put any, no hate on Fog. I don't think he wasn't the reason why this game turned out to be so bad. It's just I don't think that hero was particularly useful. Global Silence could have came out anytime he used his Fiend's Grip. He was never really in position. And more than anything, I think Archon just were not comfortable. They were getting jumped on every single team fight. I think if you look back at that game, there was not a single team fight they took on their terms, Dakota. And hopefully that changes for game number 2, because Archon did not look good that game. Root looked stellar, though, with that first game performance.
Root Gaming feeling it, and we'll see if the mentality is going to keep him on the up and up, and Archon are going to be able to shake off game number 1. This is a best of 3, folks, and always remember, BTS Americas is not a double elimination bracket. When you lose your series, you are done. Now, these teams are guaranteed in the money, but a victory here secures you at least 2nd place, which is almost double the prize right there in itself. So, with that said, we'll wrap things up. I'm KotLGuy, that's Maut. We'll be back with BTS America's Game 2 action of Archon going against Root in just a moment.